In a worn-down apartment nestled in a forgotten corner of the city, the soft hum of an old refrigerator breaks the silence. The paint on the walls is peeling, and the air carries a faint chill, despite the heavy sweater draped over Mrs. Thompson's shoulders. She moves slowly, her steps careful but steady. Years of hardship have bent her back and wrinkled her face, but not her spirit. She walks to the fridge, opens the creaking door, and stares at what little she has left, a single Tupperware container holding yesterday's meal. There are no eggs, no milk, not even a slice of bread in sight. The shelves are bare, but her expression doesn't change. She stands there for a moment, her eyes catching a small photograph pinned to the fridge door, her late husband in uniform, smiling beside her in younger, happier days. She gently touches the photo, her fingers trembling with quiet affection. Her eyes mist for a moment, but she quickly wipes them, refusing to let tears fall. Her Social Security check is delayed again, and this single meal is all that separates her from hunger until next week. But Mrs. Thompson is no stranger to sacrifice. She's survived loss, war, and countless winters colder than this. Instead of fear, her heart is filled with quiet gratitude, for the warmth of her home, the memory of love, and one small meal to carry her through. She closes the fridge softly, a gentle smile forming on her lips. Outside, the wind bites through the narrow streets as snow begins to fall gently over the dimly lit neighborhood. Mrs. Thompson, wrapped in a tattered coat and carrying her small purse, walks carefully along the sidewalk toward the church a few blocks away. She's not going to attend a service, just to drop off a small envelope with $1 and a handwritten prayer. Even with nothing to spare, she believes in giving. As she nears the church steps, something catches her eye, a figure curled up near the wall, half hidden under a thin blanket. It's a young man, barely in his 20s, his face pale from cold and hunger. His clothes are worn, soaked from the snow, and his eyes, sunken and tired, barely look up as she approaches. Mrs. Thompson pauses, watching him for a moment. He shivers uncontrollably, his lips slightly blue. He doesn't ask for anything, he just sits there, broken and quiet. Without a word, she reaches into her bag and pulls out the only thing she brought with her, the Tupperware container. Her last meal. She kneels beside him and offers it with both hands. The young man looks up, stunned. "Are you sure?" he asks, his voice cracking. Mrs. Thompson smiles softly, her eyes kind. "I've had more than enough in my life, son. You need it more." He takes it slowly, as if afraid it might disappear. Their hands touch for a second, cold fingers meeting warm compassion. In that moment, something shifts in both of them. That night, the wind howls louder as darkness settles over the city. Mrs. Thompson returns home, her coat damp from the snow and her body weary. The apartment feels colder than usual, the silence pressing heavier than ever. She sits slowly at the edge of her bed, her stomach empty but her heart strangely full. Her thoughts drift to the young man's face, the way his eyes lit up when she handed him the meal. She whispers a quiet prayer for him, then lies down under a thin blanket. Hours pass. The night deepens. At some point in the early morning, Mrs. Thompson tries to get up for a glass of water, but her legs buckle beneath her. She falls hard against the cold floor, the sound echoing through the still apartment. Her breathing is shallow. The hunger, the cold, and her age have taken their toll. Fortunately, her next-door neighbor, a kind woman named Clara, hears the faint thud and rushes over. She finds Mrs. Thompson barely conscious, curled up and trembling. Clara immediately calls an ambulance. The paramedics arrive quickly, lifting her fragile body with care and rushing her to the hospital. As machines beep and nurses move quickly around her, Mrs. Thompson lies unconscious, unaware of the sterile lights above her or the quiet hospital room she's now in. No family visits. No one knows her name. She is just another elderly woman alone in a world that too often forgets people like her. But her story isn't over yet. The next morning at the hospital, nurses exchange glances as they check on Mrs. Thompson. She's stable, but still unconscious, no known relatives, no emergency contacts. The room is quiet, sterile, filled only with the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor and the soft hiss of oxygen. Then, unexpectedly, a young man walks into the hospital lobby. His hair is damp from the snow, but his eyes are wide with purpose. He rushes to the front desk, clutching a crumpled note with Mrs. Thompson's name on it. He found it tucked inside the Tupperware container she had given him. "Please," he says breathlessly, "she gave me her only meal last night. I need to see her." The nurses look at him, surprised. "Are you family?" one asks. He hesitates, then says softly, "No, but she treated me like I was." The young man's name is Jordan. He had once been a promising medical student before life derailed him. His mother died, he fell into depression, lost his housing, and ended up on the streets. He had given up, until Mrs. Thompson's simple act of kindness reminded him that he still mattered. He sits beside her bed, gently holding her frail hand. "You didn't even know me," he whispers, tears filling his eyes. "But you saved me. I won't leave you." As hours pass, he stays by her side, reading to her, talking softly, even humming an old hymn. And somewhere in the stillness, Mrs. Thompson's fingers twitch. She's not alone anymore. Weeks have passed. The snow has melted, and sunlight now streams gently through the window of a cozy little living room. Laughter echoes in the air, the sound of warmth returning to a life once marked by silence. Mrs. Thompson, now healthier and stronger, sits comfortably in an armchair, wrapped in a knitted shawl. Her cheeks have color again. Her eyes sparkle with quiet joy. Across from her, Jordan places 2 steaming plates on a small table. He's learned to cook simple meals, just like she used to. The once homeless young man now wears clean clothes and carries himself with purpose. He's returned to school part-time and volunteers at a local clinic, helping others find their way, just like she helped him. They eat together every week. They talk about books, about life, about second chances. What began as a single act of compassion became something neither of them expected, a bond stronger than blood. A new photo now hangs on Mrs. Thompson's wall, her and Jordan smiling side by side, arms around each other. Beneath it, in her own handwriting, are the words, "Family is not who you're born to. It's who shows up when you need them." As the scene fades, the voiceover returns. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can rewrite someone's story, and in doing so, it just might save your own. And with that, we're left with a simple, powerful truth: kindness costs little, but it can change everything.